Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a new week, a new day. Welcome to Monday morning. My name is Tyler. If you're here for the first time, I'm glad that you decided to join us. I'm going to be helping navigate you through the wild world of day trading futures. It's a wild ride. It's a lot of leverage, so you got to make sure you're doing proper risk management. But we're going to talk about all of that. ICT concepts, fair value gaps, order blocks, breakers, inversions, all that good stuff. So it's going to be a good time here. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with our higher time frame analysis and then bring it down to what's going on the lower time frame charts. If you're here for the first time, welcome. Glad that you decided to join us. You can watch, and if you're watching after the fact, you can jump to the key moments using the chapter markers below. Lastly, you can use the code DTJ to get anywhere from 30 to 80% off your next evaluation account. We have 80% off Apex right now and 30% off Take Profit Trader. So if you want to take your trading to the next level, you can do so by using that. With that, let's go ahead and open in prayer, and then let's go ahead and get started. Father, we thank you. My volume I'm hearing, let's see, I already have the volume up pretty high. All right, I have it maxed out there. So if that's not high enough, well then you might need to turn up your volume. But let's go ahead and open in prayer and let's rock and roll. Father, we thank you for a new day, a new week. Father, fresh eyes, fresh ears to hear. Father, we thank you that your mercies are new every morning. Father, I thank you that what happened last week is in the past, and I thank you that your promises are new. And Father, we fix our eyes on the author and the finisher of our faith, Jesus Christ. Father, we thank you that you direct our steps. And Father, we listen to your heart and to your direction as we navigate this wild world, Father, of day trading. We thank you for your leadership and thank you for your grace that you empower us to overcome, because we are more than overcomers in Christ Jesus. And everyone said, and amen, amen. Okay. I got YouTube up on my TV. Give me a second. I got to get that down. There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and rock and roll. Let's take a look at the market. Let's see what we got. The market is expanding right now. I've already marked out our London low, our midnight open. I've already marked out our previous day high and low. So when we are looking at the markets, we've talked about this many times before, and I'll say it again. There's 3 steps to trying to figure out what you're going to do in any day trading session. The first step is finding your higher level target or your bullish target and a bearish target. We want to know where could price move to if it moves higher, where could price move to if it moves lower. So that's the first thing we want to do. Well, considering we haven't ran the previous day high, that is our first target for a bullish move. Our lower time frame target is going to be typically the previous day low. And as we drop to lower time frames, we may have shorter or lower hanging fruit that we could actually target. So up front, the first step is, where is the bias? Is the bias bullish or bearish? And so far it was all bullish last week. We had Monday was a red day, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all green. And we have closed, if we even jump to the weekly chart, we closed above this weekly imbalance. I now have finally taken that off my chart, but that has been on there for 3 weeks, ever since we closed this candle right here. And I said this is going to be a drawn liquidity. Now that it's closed above, we can remove that. If we look on a weekly perspective, we've closed above and had a double break week. We ran before the previous week low and the previous week high. That is bullish. On a weekly perspective, that is bullish. Now, when we look at a weekly, how price may want to move, I'm drawing profile, when we look at a weekly profile, it could do something like this: consolidation, manipulation, distribution. And if you look at the weekly news, what's going to happen with the news? There's no news today, but there's news rest of the week. So I'm expecting today to pretty much be a really chill, low-key, nothing crazy type day. And let me switch over to my other screen here so I can make sure you see all that. So I don't expect there to be anything crazy. We have our high. Here's the previous week that I'm saying that we ran the low and we ran the high. So when we run the low, we ran that first, and then we run the high at the end of the week. That's a bullish narrative. So when we look at weekly profiles, I have a Monday as consolidation. I have Tuesday, Wednesday as potential manipulation, and Thursday, Friday as potential expansion. Does it always go that way? No, it doesn't. But we have a framework that we can work within. If it works out that way, guess what? We're pretty confident about the trade we're going to take, okay? But we haven't hit the previous week high. That is a very key level for me. Typically on the daily time frame, the Friday's equilibrium, which we've already tagged before midnight. If we drop down to the 15-minute, you'll see that here. That is another draw on liquidity. Yes, we hit it during the pre-market, but I like that still because midnight open is also here, and London low is also here. The previous day midpoint is here. All those things are here, and we have some low resistance liquidity or swing lows that haven't been ran yet. A collection of swing lows. We also have a fair value gap sitting right here that looks interesting. So we have our previous week high, our previous day high sitting right there. We have marked out our new week opening gap, which we have ran through already. And we have marked out our opening range gap. Opening range gap is from yesterday's close till today's open. So technically it's not solidified until 9:30, which is in 7 minutes. And then we will have a better indication of what price wants to do in regards to the opening range gap. So step number one, higher time frame bias. We have our targets, our previous day high, previous week high. My lower time frame, my bearish target is midnight open and Friday's equilibrium. That's what I would want to target as far as areas of interest if we move lower. Higher is here, lower is here. Now, if we look at if price wants to move higher, at that point, I'm looking at this opening range gap, which was from April 2nd. April 2nd's big news tariff day is a big, giant, humongous gap, and that would be my that would be my bullish target if we continue to move higher, is that the remainder of this to be filled and rebalanced. It could go up all the way to March 17th's new week opening gap there. It could go all the way up to the data high from all that news stuff. So multiple options for a bullish move. I have my low-hanging fruit for a bearish move. That's step one. Step two is how is it going to get there? Step two is how does it want to get there? So for me, because of how close we are to this previous day high and previous week high, I like the idea of us sweeping that level and then running lower. That's my narrative, how I think price wants to move, if it wants to move towards this level here. That's what I would want to see. You're trying to predict and put together how price actually is going to move to those specific levels so that when it does it, it goes ding, 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 ding. It's actually doing what I thought it was going to do. I have more confidence to take a trade. If it's just going to do something random or you don't try to predict what price is going to do, well then you're kind of guessing still. Okay? So bias we have. Narrative, how does it want to get there? I would rather it hit this and then run lower. If it starts dropping, then I'm going to have to come up with a different narrative. Narrative can change multiple times throughout the day as you get more candles, as you get more structure in the charts. And so we sit, and that's mostly what we're doing while we're sitting here in front of the charts, is trying to figure out what the potential narrative is. And what's step 3? Step 3 is take the trade, using your model, looking for your model to get in that narrative towards that bias. It's 3 steps. It's pretty simple. If you're taking a trade outside of that, you're gambling. In short, have I gambled before? I'll raise my hand and say yes. I'm the first to admit that I have taken trades outside of this framework, and I've lost some and I've won some. Ultimately, your goal is to stick to the plan. Your goal is to stick to and not deviate from that plan. If you can do that, you're going to save yourself a lot of headache. Okay? So, a quick note here. Guess what already hit its previous day high? ES. ES already ran the previous day and previous week high. So could we see price roll over from this point? Absolutely. Does NQ have to hit that level too? No. It could be using, ES could be using this level as a place to start running the other direction. And we could start seeing price run the other direction. So we want to keep our eyes also on ES to give us any type of indication if price is going to move early. So if we have our narrative as I want it to hit this price and then drop, well, if ES already's done it, maybe it wants to run without actually getting this level right now, and maybe it wants to hit this level first and then actually move higher. There's a new narrative. We have a new idea of what price could do. So that's basically what we're doing here, folks. We got 3 minutes till market open. Let's take a look. Let's say hi, and we'll get situated. Good morning, Mick, Ted, Sarah, Mo, Byron. How you doing, my friend? Bannock, how you doing? It's good to see you. Lance, welcome. Jose, welcome. Paul, how you doing, my friend? Esteban, Matt, how you doing? Raise the King, what's up? Peter, how you doing? It's been a minute. I've seen you hanging out here and there. Jim, good morning. Northern, how you doing, my friend? Gene, how you doing? Gene C, how you doing? Tony, what's up? Okay. Bob, how you doing? 4X, what's up? No, nobody's ever late. You're right on time. Okay, so we got 2 minutes. Let's take a look and see. I don't share the 930 model. It's something inside of the Purpose Driven Trader Academy. But let's see if we have any ideas on taking the 930 this morning. Pretty much, I'm going to say no. I'm probably going to pass on the 930. Let's see, 415. Now, part of my protocol is outside of the 930, I wait for the first 15 minutes of the market. But I will tell you, guess what's happening? Since ES has hit that previous day and previous week high, what do we see price doing? This is what I'm talking about, folks. Understand where those key levels are and play off of those levels. It doesn't mean you take those trades, but start reading price. Understand where it's going, what it's doing. This is how you grow as a trader, okay? So I'm looking for, ultimately, I would love to run for these equal lows down here, London low down here. Now, we'll find out what happens here at open. Open has expanded a little bit lower, and we have pretty much a really small opening range gap. Makes it, it's a sign of a choppy day. Let's just say it's a sign of a choppy day. So 15 minutes, we're going to sit here, not take a trade. That'll give us some time to get acquainted, say hi, and then also do our morning and daily affirmation. We'll get on that here in a second. Okay, so ES just ran that again. AND's pumping higher. I'm guessing that we're probably running for previous day high on, oh, that's a beautiful breaker on ES. That's right here. You should see if it wants to expand from there. I don't like that idea of going higher from right here because it already hit a key level, but the only reason it's attractive is because we haven't hit that key level here. So maybe we're wanting, NQ also wants to run it as well. So that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for more clarity on what price wants to do. For trades, folks, I'm going to be executing on a different screen. You'll see that pop up right there on my screen when I decide to take a trade. If you want to see an on-screen trade, hit the like button for me. Let's hit 40 likes, and then that will give me the green light to take a trade on screen. Okay, folks, that's what we'll shoot for. John, good morning. MR, good morning. How you doing? Let's have a good trading day. Let's go ahead and take a look at our daily affirmation. This is a good one. I wanted to really put some emphasis on action here today. And so here is our daily affirmation. Affirmation without discipline is delusion. You can say all the good stuff all day, but if you put zero action to it, you're lying to yourself. I'm just telling you the truth. Today, I match my words with my actions. I don't just believe for it, I build for it. God honors diligence, and I will be found faithful. It's a great one. This is a good one. This is a good reminder that affirmations only do so much. You got to put some action to it. You got to be disciplined. You got to do the stuff. So do the stuff today. Let's do the stuff today. Let's be disciplined today. Let's follow our rules today. Let's execute today. Let's be patient today. Those are the things that we're going to execute on, and we're going to do. All right, look at the drop right there. Pretty crazy. Look at NQ. No fair value gaps yet. We'll probably get one right here. We'll see if we get it. There's a nice, decent breaker. My guess is it's too heavy, too fast. ES has just done an inverse to the downside. It reran the previous day high. Again, left a fair value gap and then closed below it and now is moving lower. Almost. We got 4 more likes, folks. Give me a couple more and then we'll do an on-screen trade here. Good morning from India. Welcome. $19,466, folks. That's what we're watching for. That's probably the level I expect price to run into. The only area that I potentially see as stopping that is this last 1 minute fair value gap, but we'll see if it wants to do that. Hey Sarah, hi, welcome. I didn't know. I saw somebody decided to join and I didn't see them join the Discord. You should have received an email And if you didn't get an email, send me an email at dtjacademy@gmail.com, and I will make sure you are added. I want to make sure you get in there. Yeah, it's dtjacademy@gmail.com. All right, so nice reaction here. I had this breaker here. I was going to see if it could reach up there, but nope, it's too heavy. It hit the new week opening gap, tagged that, and then still expanding, that being the target in my mind. We'll go ahead and mark out our first presented fair value gap sitting right here. We're seeing price find this level right here, came up into that first fair value gap. I like the idea of going short here. It's just I don't have the green light to trade. If this was outside of my time, and the reason why I do this is because I've taken trades like this and price will just be too crazy. And sometimes it just, does stuff I don't expect it to do. So if this was outside, if I had a green light to trade, I really like this for heading to that level. But I'm not taking it because it's outside of my rules that I've added to myself. 15 minutes, don't trade, and then I will take a trade. Just looking at my own data, I found that I get myself in a hole in the first 15 minutes many times. I've had great trades the first 15 minutes too. Don't get me wrong, but I want to eliminate those rushed decisions. Byron, thank you for the kind words. For any new people here, Tyler's completely changed my trading. Went from blowing accounts to sitting $800 from passing my first account. Thanks, man. That's encouraging. Steve, you're welcome. Would love to have you. I know, foul mouth, you won't get none of that here. I can't do it. I don't like it. Stupid, dumb is probably the most you're getting out of this. From South Africa, Lesbia, how are you? I hope I said that right. Lisiba. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Okay, look how it expanded here. This is another reason why I don't do it. It kind of does this crazy stuff. It looks like it really wants to go, and then it just goes back and forth, and then it waits for 9:45, 10 o'clock. It could do all of this all the way back up to this breaker. So if we get to 8:45 and we're reaching for this breaker and we're still inside that, I will look to take that short. My daily bias for today, we talked about that this morning. My bullish bias and target is previous day high, and my bearish bias is down here. It's not about bias, it's about narrative. How does it want to get to those places that you've identified? So I've identified this level, and I've identified this level. At this point, I think price is going to run for this level first. My narrative is we ran these levels here. ES has hit the previous day high, and I would like it to stay underneath this breaker and roll over to the equal lows. So I have bias and narrative combined. And then this is my entry, step 3, breaker. It would be right there. Now, do I take this right here? The answer is no. You don't take that right there, because that's just crazy. If you're seeing it expand outside of consolidation, don't do that. You wait to see if it's manipulation, because this here could have been the manipulation and it wants to run for a previous day high. So as of right now, if we close above this first presented fair value gap, there's a good chance our narrative will have to change. Our narrative would change because our idea is it wanted to roll over from here. It doesn't look like it wants to do that. Based on the aggression of these candles, we'll find out when this candle closes. If it closes above this first presented fair value gap, I now become interested in potentially looking for price to hit the previous day high. That's pretty aggressive. We're probably running higher here. But again, I don't take these. I'm talking. When I'm saying something, guys, I'm not saying, here's what I think it's going to do, take the trade. This is how you learn. When I'm talking out loud, I'm teaching myself on what I think price is going to do, and I watch it, and I evaluate my educated guess on where price is going to go. And then when, as you can see right here, when it's just about to do it, when it hits this level right here, I now go ding, 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 ding. I got more confidence the next time I see something like this. That's what I'm doing. I'm building a history of learning to read price action. I'm not saying take a trade. I'll tell you if I'm taking a trade. But when I'm saying, yep, price should go here, that's me putting together an idea of what I think is going to happen with price. I'm not saying I'm taking that trade. That's two different things. Because you have to learn to read price. You can't read price by sitting quiet and just watching price and then go, oh, I think it's going to go here. You hit buy. No. So there. My idea was proven. From the inversion to the swing high, target's been hit if that was a trade. And here's where I really wanted to see price go as soon as we had a close above this fair value gap. That was my idea. Do I take it every time? No, you don't. You're just trying to read price. When you start seeing those things happen over and over and over and over and over again, now you create a model around it. You put a strategy around it. Well, every time I see that first presented fair value gap break when it's really close to the previous day high, it actually runs for it aggressively, especially when we see large candles. You can go ding, ding, ding. Okay, now I'm going to try to put a model or a set of rules in place so I could take this and actually make money from it. I'm just reading price action right now. And people mistake that I'm saying you should get in and go long or get in and go short. That's not what I'm saying. I never say that. I'll tell you if I'm taking a trade, or I'll say, here's my idea of my next trade. I gave you that idea. It was right here. It didn't do that. I was wrong. So when I was wrong, I had to create a new idea of what I thought price was going to do. And there it is. Dynamic learning is what I'll call that. You got to change you got to change quickly. It's dynamic. Things are always changing. Okay. Now that we ran the previous day high, I typically look at the previous day high as a key level for a reversal. This was my first idea I presented before, is hitting this level and then rolling over. Is that possible? Well, let's take a look. Look at the low resistance liquidity that's right here. I like that. To me, that's like a sign of let's do a little consolidation and then let's aggressively run those levels. The only level that I'm curious about is this level right here that hasn't been tagged, and it's a 15-minute BISI. So we could find support here. We've talked about that last Friday. Swing low, right above a fair value gap, typically high support. Nope, I made a new rule, Ryan, where I'm not trading the first 15 minutes, but I called it out. Putin did a 3-day ceasefire. Yeah, after he bombs everybody. How convenient. I'm going to bomb your cities here over 2 weeks, and then let's do a ceasefire now. Let's call it, let's take a break. All right, let's see. If prices, we need to now have a new higher time target. I talked about that earlier, being this opening range gap. That's attractive. If we're going to do that, what I need is a push, a retracement, and then a push higher. That's what I would be looking for. That could be in the form of a breaker right here. So there's a break here. You could use this as a potential breaker. It's not bad. A bullish breaker right here. Now, I'm not saying that this is a trade. I'm saying this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking at, I want to see a retracement. Does it find support at a level like this, where we have a low, high, lower, low, break higher, find support here, and continue higher? I'm less interested in that simply because of the previous day and previous week high. And there's no news. Well, I guess we apparently had some news, but there's no like scheduled news. And with scheduled news comes expansions, comes reversals. So I would rather see it stay inside this range today and take trades inside that range. I'm only looking to try to get 20 to 50 handles. That's all I'm really looking at to grab today, because there's no news today. It's already a risk-off type of day with no news. Thanks, Ryan. See you, bro. Yeah, no more killing would be nice. It'd be good for the markets. Look at that candle that just flashed. Did you guys see that? There's your, that makes it very difficult now because it's right at my level. But I don't want to take a giant candle that's running lower. So we have to wait now. We have to wait and watch to see what price, how price wants to handle this. Is that just manipulation trying to get people out before I move higher? Don't get tricked by big candles, flashy candles. I've been slapped in the face too many times. But if we can leave a small inversion fair value gap, I would potentially be interested in that. But right now, nothing's screaming my name. I like this 2-minute. An inversion right here, this 2-minute inversion. But I also like the idea of this expansion in a bullish breaker right here. I mean, I like both. Really do. So I have to just wait and see how price wants to play this out. And if the bullish candle, if the bullish breaker supports itself, I can go long on that inversion. MYM, I do not track the SPY. Nope. ES and NQ is pretty much all I watch. I try to keep things really simple and not overwhelm myself because there's so much to learn and so many different things to take in. I only try to focus on the things that I have found success in that helps. I mean, I'm sure people find success in using SPY, but I don't. I did when I traded options, but I don't trade options anymore. So we lost support from the previous day high and previous week high. I don't want it to stay down here very long if we're going to continue higher. Here's the 30-minute. There's the hourly. Yeah, I like the idea of it running lower here, especially since we're at the previous week high. I want to get some type of retracement. That's what I would prefer. But we don't have any structure here. It's just green candles, so we can't take a breaker of any kind. So we have to wait for a 1 minute or 2 minute inversion. I do have the green light to trade, meaning if I see what I want, I'll take the trade. I don't see an SMT between ES and NQ. All right, let's see here. Looks like we might get something. Let's jump to the 2 minute because I like the 2 minute better. It's a single fair value gap, or it's a bigger obvious fair value gap. This fair value gap is 28 handles, so risk is large. So you want to adjust your contract size appropriately depending on what you're willing to lose. $30-minute reversal, 5 minutes. Potentially, we got to wait for that to close though. Yeah, honestly, it'd be better to wait 5 minutes no matter what you see here. But if you do get a quick inversion, that's not a bad trade. This also, the first presented fair value gap could find support here and move higher. All right, so we got a candle. I don't like no retracements. I would like to see this not close, create a green candle, and then run lower. That's what I would prefer to see. I don't like taking inversions when it's just straight up black candles or straight up green candles. Even though this worked out, yes, it worked out, and it could run to this low. You do got to be careful. going to take a short here. Oh my gosh, it didn't copy. That sucks. All right. Well, we'll play this out. Why didn't it work? Let's find out. I'm going to kill the trade because it didn't copy at all, and it's just a single micro. That sucks. Let's see. 1, MQ. Why didn't it copy? I'm still in the trade. We'll let the trade play out. Target's the swing low right here. All right, target needs to be moved to break even. So stops move to break even because we ran that swing low. I'm going to hold to the equal lows. That sucks. There's my target. Guys, this is right now, it's a 30-point trade. That makes me frustrated. $517 to $466. That is a 40, 50 plus point trade. Exactly what I wanted. And target's been hit. There it is, folks, just like that. Except it did not copy on any of my other accounts. That would have been a huge one and done trade. And I have no idea why it didn't copy. MNQ. Guys, I'm really annoyed right now. Why didn't it copy? Northern, take care, my friend. Dusty, that's not fun. I know how that feels. Well, folks, beautiful trade. Beautiful execution. It just happened to be on a single micro account. Not copied on any of my other funded accounts or eval accounts. Just oh God, it's hard not to. It is a winner. It is a winner. And these are the moments, it's like, how do you handle these disappointing moments? It's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to vent a little bit, but just don't revenge trade. That's the key. Don't revenge trade. Make my email is dtjacademy@gmail.com. All right, let's see if this works. Let's see if it still doesn't put me in a trade here. Nope. Let's flatten that. Still didn't. All right, so we're going to have to swap out my primary account. Okay, so now it's working. All right, so I got everything working now. Woo, I got $14 on all my accounts. All right, let's recalibrate and let's get a win. Let's see what price wants to do here. So what did I say? Now that I got all situated, what did I tell you that we can expect from this 15-minute fair value gap? This purple box down here. This purple box I said would be found as support. I told you guys that. It's exactly what happened so far. Now, it doesn't mean it can't go run back down. I just said we should see a bounce there. We got the bounce. Whether it continues or it falls back down, I really don't care. I just expected it to happen like that. Now, if I was to say I really want midnight open and I want previous day low, then I would be treating this as a breaker right here. A breaker box. But we'll see how it reacts to this first presented fair value gap. Look at that. See all the low resistance liquidity that we talked about? I said all of this, all these swing lows should be ran, and we should run into this, and we'll probably find support there. What do you mean, Ted? I think your 30-minute reversal could be in the cards. Let's see. 30-minute reversal. Oh. 3-minute fair value gap is right here. That's the 3-minute fair value gap I'd want. I like the idea of it still acting as a breaker inside this first presented fair value gap and rolling over. I'm not opposed to taking a trade off that idea. I just need to see confirmation. To me, this is a fake move lower because, I mean, I guess not. It could stop at this order block here. It could continue to roll over here. But I would prefer to see it run higher. It is okay that you missed a trade, Tyler. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. ES looks really nice for that breaker as well. You can see ES running lower, reacting to that breaker pretty accurately right there. We'll see if it holds. I don't like that the 10 o'clock low is here. 10 o'clock made the low of day. Or 10 o'clock made the low. I don't like when it does that because it could spend more time. So I'm really hesitant to take a trade here. That would have passed my Take Profit Trader eval account too. That would have passed the test phase. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I grabbed a Take Profit Trader account because I wanted to test it out. So far, I like it, but some people don't like Apex, so you can check out Take Profit Trader if you like. They don't have any activation fees. But I should be passing, hopefully I pass that in my next trade. New week opening gap also right here. It's tagged. I like the combination of that. We got first presented fair value gap, new week opening gap, 3-minute fair value gap for the 30-minute for a 30-minute reversal. Technically it would be a 30-minute reversal. What does a 60-minute look like? 60-minute could also work. Let's see, there's a 5-minute fair value gap. So this would be the 5-minute fair value gap as well. It could reach up into this 5-minute though. Futures, I'm in the Nasdaq, or I'm trading the Nasdaq. All right, look at ES. ES is still reacting to that breaker. Just because we're closer to 10:15, I really feel like we're going to do something like this. I really feel it's going to be something like this. Boom, 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 boom. Bam! Something like that. For the next hour, it just kind of fakes out and no breakouts. That's how I feel. And I feel that way because I've seen it do that so many times. Could you be wrong? Sure. So I think this level here would potentially treat it as an inversion. I just think it's going to reach higher. We have all of this that we can play around in. There's our equilibrium of the range. See how it looked like it wanted to run lower, but then it doesn't. It just comes right back into all of this. That's just what you got to be careful with. London stops trading in 15 minutes. Good thing I'm not trading London. Yeah, for those that are here for the first time or you may not know, I'm strictly a price action trader. And what I can see on the charts, I don't do hardly any data points. The only one I might do is a Fibonacci retracement to find out where the optimal trade entry is, where equilibrium's at, but I don't use VWAP. I don't use any really other data points. I will use ES as a confirmation for data points, but that's about it. I like the trading so far. So the trading, the price action has been really nice. So I'm willing to sit on the market and see if there's anything that comes up. It's just now we got to wait. So 1 for 1 so far this morning on a 50-point move. We'll see if we can get anything else. Mick, do you mean you trade as you watch the price action moving and candles open and close? Yes. I don't use indicators. There's 0 indicators on my charts. Everything that I do is I draw lines and boxes and I take trades off of them. Yeah, pips. It's the best way to share it. Even with that, just with my boxes and lines, my chart still gets too messy, in my opinion. Where I learned all my concepts, everything that I teach, I learned from ICT concepts, from Michael Huddleston. Say what you want about the man, the concepts are legit. Changed my trading dramatically. So when you see price action like this, folks, and you see the time, it's between 10:15 and 10:45. Anytime I see price action in there, typically I want to see extra confirmation. So if I see an aggressive candle right now, I'm not going to take it. I'm going to wait for my confirmation to play out and maybe even get a second confirmation, because it's very common for price to do this and fake you out. And this is where a lot of people get chopped up and smashed. Okay? What's the difference between this and this right here? We saw how clean this was. Did we have an entry? No, no entry, no entry, no entry, no entry, entry. And then it continues down to our target. It was around right there. That was 42 points down to those equal lows. I've watched a couple episodes. My kids are 13, 10, and 9. And two of my boys just don't like all of the gore, because they don't hold back. I'll tell you that much. I appreciate the realisticness of it. I've watched 3 episodes. I haven't finished it yet. I will end up finishing. I just haven't yet, because my wife won't watch it. She doesn't watch anything with any type of blood or gore or anything like that. And then my two of my boys don't like it. One of my boys is just like, Dad, can we watch it? Dad, can we watch it? Dad, can we watch it? I'm like, and it's my middle son. It's my 10-year-old. I'm like, I don't know if you should be watching this. We skip quite a few parts, like the demon-possessed man that was chained. We skip some of that stuff, but I think it's a good program. Oh, I know. Just the time will come. They haven't watched Passion of the Christ. We're not doing that right now. Quite honestly, I don't know if I want to watch it again. It's a tough one. So, folks, what's happening right now? If you're wondering, what is this guy doing? Why is he just chit-chatting? We're waiting. I'm passing time. If you're not doing something with your hands, if you're not playing a game or something online while you're waiting, or reading a book, put your hands to something during this time, because this is where most mistakes are made right now. It's during these moments most mistakes are made here. Do you want to trade in this? Do you want to take a trade in that? Let me give you the answer. The answer is no. You don't want to trade in that. Man, I would have been done trading. I would have been done trading if I was able to get that with all my accounts. So yesterday I went running, ran the most I've ever ran. I've never been a big runner. I was a sprinter, but never long distance. I ran 6 miles yesterday, and my calves said don't, because one is in pain right now. So I'm gonna take a break, give it a week or two, and just ride a bike to get my cardio in. But I'm wanting to start running more miles. I find it, especially when I'm staying in like zone 2, keeping my heart rate below 150, 160. It's kind of enjoyable. I can think, I can process, come up with YouTube ideas, think about trading, think about principles, think about what the Lord's been teaching me. I kind of enjoy it. Mo, how did you know they would chop around? Still learning. Of course. The biggest reason is time. I want you to do a study. I want to give you some homework. I want you to look at every peak, major peak, and every major valley, and look what time they land within. Most of them will be between the last 15 minutes of the hour and the first 15 minutes of the hour. What's this one? This is 10 a.m. What's this one? 9:46 or 9:46. 15 minutes within the 15 minutes. So when this happens, it's outside of that time. Now, this can also happen inside that time as well. You just got to be careful. But that's ultimately, when you watch the charts enough, really there's no substitute from screen time. You have to be in front of the screen to be profitable at this. You can't, you just have to up front. Later on, as you figure it out, you can spend less time in front of the charts, but you need to crash all that time in the beginning, hundreds and hundreds of hours in front of the screen to recognize this stuff. You're not going to recognize it and have a gut feeling for it if you can't put in the time. So people treat day trading like a side job for side income, and they think they can just make some quick cash. No. If you really want to make money at this, you got to commit the time up front, and then after you give it a year, 2 years, you'll be able to spend 5 minutes in front of the charts, take a quick trade, and walk out for the rest of the day. That's totally doable. Do you have the number of miles that you run on a regular basis? So I normally run, I'm building up. On a weekly basis, I'm running right now 8 to 10 miles a week. And on Thursday, I ran 5 miles, and I didn't do anything over the weekend. I was feeling great, so I decided to run 6 miles. And then I was going to basically do 2 miles and another 2 miles to get 10 miles for that week and just, take it easy. Apparently, putting 5 miles and 6 miles that close together was not a good idea. There's our first presented fair value gap. We still haven't closed above it. That's what I'm noticing out of this candle. This green candle doesn't mean take a trade. It means pay attention. Anytime you see a big candle, it means pay attention, not take a trade. Because it could be a nothing burger, or it could be an opportunity. We swept liquidity right here, just noting that. The king pips. It takes time, and you gotta just have a language, and 80% of your work is on managing yourself and sticking to a system. Stick to one system and work on yourself. You should be journaling every trade, which I'm going to be sharing to my Discord. I have a journaling method that incorporates AI, incorporates ChatGPT, and a survey for every single trade so you can document how you feel and how it was during that whole process. I really like this inversion right here, folks. But we swept this low already, so I'm not going to take it. If this was an equal low or this low wasn't taken, I would probably be interested in taking a short. We had a manipulation higher. We respected that level. We rolled over. We created an inversion, which is a model. But this little sweep of liquidity is why I'm not taking it. It ran it already. It doesn't have to go back down here because it just ran it. I could be wrong, and it probably will run, but it's just when I see this, it's a less probable type trade that I don't want to mess with because I don't want to get burned. Because it could easily just run back up into here. Mick, the only way to the to be a part of the Discord is to also have taken the course, which is the Purpose Driven Trader Academy. You can get that. You can check all that out on my website. It's DTJ. DTJacademy.com. So that 30-minute reversal technically is still playing out. Oops. 30-minute. We have 1 minute left. But this right here is not very attractive. We should have already seen the expansion. We swept the London low and closing inside this range despite this big expansion lower. So not very attractive at the least. The 5-minute looks more attractive with 30 minutes left. So the 1 hour reversal potentially has a chance. Have we reached up into this one? We haven't reached up into that 5-minute yet. So I might be interested if we could reach up into this 5-minute and start seeing displacement. I could take an inversion to the downside, or we could look for a breaker and take the breaker to the downside. But I think I want to wait for this 5-minute to be tagged. The 15-minute, there's nothing. Just back and forth, no fair value gaps in the 15-minute. So really, the only thing we can really keep an eye on is that 5-minute right there. It could drop without us, sure. Jason, how do you tell if that day will be a trending day or chopping day? Do you see the first 30 minutes to decide? That's helpful. The best answer I have is look at the candle to wick ratio. Do you have more candles or do you have more wicks? So look how the market went right off. Beautiful price action. I would say this is not a choppy day. We could have a choppy period. Waiting, we call that just passing time, marking time, waiting for the next hour, potentially, waiting for the next hourly candle to close. Because you got to think, these candles are inferior to a 60-minute candle or a 4-hour candle. So maybe it wants to go lower, but maybe the algorithm wants this hourly candle to not close all the way down here. So the hourly candle needs to close, and then the next hour can be aggressive. So you got to remember that price is fractal, and it does still need to pass time. Here's a breaker right here. I like that idea. I think what I would want to see is us close below this fair value gap and then come back up to this breaker and then take the trade lower. I might not get it. I'm being pretty conservative in what I want to see, especially since it's only 10:30. What time frame of candle do you look at when watching the candle and wick ratio? Any of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would say under just any candles under 5 minutes typically, because you can identify that a lot sooner than you can on a 15-minute candle. I mean, if you look at the 15-minute candle, I would say this looks choppy, right? The 15-minute candle looks choppy. Well, the 1-minute candles don't. So you got to go, you can't just commit to one time frame. You got to look back and forth and get an idea of how it makes you feel. I like the 1 minute time. I mean, all this looks great. I mean, this is consolidating, but it doesn't mean it's going to be choppy for the entire day. I just see it as passing time. All right, so we closed below that inversion. What did I say? I wanted it to come back up to here, and then I would look. But that's technically an entry right there. This is technically an entry. I just didn't want to take that, and I wanted it to come back up here. Especially since it's 10:30. I don't like taking trades around 10:30. It's usually a manipulation move. I see it as a manipulation move, and it actually won't run to target. So for that inversion to actually be a winner, it needs to run to that black line. Well, it hasn't so far, and it's probably going to be violated here soon. It also could come all the way back up to here. I really need to use the restroom. I'm going to use the restroom. I'll be right back. So see that inversion? Look at what time the inversion happened. Inversion happened at 10:31. That should be a winner trade right there, but it's not. It's at 10:30. I see it. That's why I see it as manipulation. That's why I really wasn't interested in that, and I wanted to see it come back over to here. Now, this candle did push through this level, so it's technically still valid anywhere in this level here. So we'll see if it wants to come up to this fair value gap, or if it wants to roll over. But either way, we got another 10 to 15 minutes that I'm going to wait. If you guys appreciate the commentary and it's helpful, hit the like button for me. I greatly appreciate it. And Apex is still 80% off right now. They'll be 80% off through, I think, the 30th. Till the end of the month, which is 2 more days. If you are wanting to take your trading to another level at a little bit of risk, but you're not trading a live personal account. A 50K account is $33. Well, that $33 could give you 100 trades compared to one trade on your personal account. You'll lose $33 in one trade. You could lose $100 in a couple trades. So it's just less risk, more opportunity to learn and be in front of the charts without risking lots of money. That's what I like about it. All right, so let's see if this is going to close. I like it running up to here. 3 minutes, sure, it's still there. I'm going to move this back. I'm going to add a inversion right here. Let's see if it wants to do this. We also have a little bit of a breaker right here. I don't care if it breaks it or stays underneath it. I'm reading price. $130 activation fee. Yeah, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about practicing with more risk, Dusty. If you're a brand new trader, yes, you will have an activation fee if you pass it, but your goal is just to be consistent. Passing is a byproduct of you following and you learning. The primary goal is not to pass the account. The primary goal is to teach yourself, is to learn how to trade, how to manage risk, how to take only your model, how to not take crap trades or be emotional in your trades. And eval accounts allow you to do that with less risk. All right, so we swept this fair value gap. I take this trade. I like it. It's a little bit before my time though. I'm gonna pass on taking this trade. This looks decent. We came into a fair value gap, but I'm just not gonna take it. Let's see if it gives it to us. We'll talk through this trade. All right, so there's the trade entry. I'm not taking the trade. Stop loss would be the fair value gap low. Target is this high. I'm not taking this trade. It's in between. It didn't sweep liquidity here. We got a lot of aggression. It's very obvious that it's intentionally running a direction. We swept this liquidity here, but we didn't run the low. So this could still, it could fail. I mean, so it's not an A plus type trade. We'll call it an A or an A minus. Still absolutely could play out because I really want it to reach up to this 5 minute. That's a good way to look at it, Dusty. As long as you're not, blowing accounts over and over again. There was a guy I saw on X that went through $3,000 worth of accounts in one day. $3,000. And he was copy trading 20 accounts at a time. Can you imagine going through that over and over and over again? I don't like how slow this trade's still valid. I don't like how we're not moving higher. That would want me to reduce my size. So if I had 10 contracts, I would cut down to 5 contracts because it looks like it's going to fail. That's how I would feel. Well, that's failing with style. So that's again, I didn't like it. And that only comes through time and experience of sitting in front of the charts, guys. That I don't like. So I'm looking at this as a little slop, not as clean as what it was over here. It's saying continue to wait and be patient. Wait for something that's maybe cleaner or more obvious, or something that you like better. Now, I might take this. If we close above this again, I probably will take this. I'll move my stop to break even once we hit that swing high. It has to run above this though. So no trade because it didn't close above it. I'm looking at this as a strict manipulation to get people out of the trade. If we can close above it, I would be interested in it going long. Now, could it go without me right here? Sure. Could it completely drop lower? Absolutely. That's why we're looking at a specific level for it to close back above. I'd be willing to take that. All right, Bannock. Take care, my friend. All right, I'm going to take this trade. Targeting the swing highs up here. See if it gives it to us. Stop loss is if it closes below 19,506. Five-minute fair value gap is at 19,541. Break even as soon as we hit that swing high, that internal swing high right here. If it hits that high, we have to move our stop to break even to protect ourselves. What's up, James? All right, I want to see it expand here. Higher specifically. We don't want it to go lower. There we go. All right, so it just hit the high. We need to move our stop to break even. I'm going to move it. It's dropped there, and I'm probably getting stopped out. All right, stopped out at break even. Why do we have to do that? Because if we hit an internal, we didn't hit it on. I might get back in this, folks. All right, yeah. That was a mistake on my part. I messed up, folks. I messed up. I'll explain it here in a second. Would I have been stopped out? No, not stopped out yet. Let's see what happens. I'm not going to re-enter this trade, but I'll explain exactly what happened. I think I would have been stopped out anyway. Okay, let me explain what happened. So I have two screens up. I have the white screen and the black screen. My executions are on the black screen. The black screen is micros. They're smaller account size. It's to protect me so I'm not taking larger trades, unnecessary size. I want to keep my risk low. So I do the executions on the black screen. When I'm doing my analysis, your analysis should be done on the white screen. And I paid attention to the black screen here, and I was like, oh, we swept that internal high. All right, I got to move my stop to break even. But it didn't on the mini chart, on the main Nasdaq chart. This is what I should have. I should have been waiting for it to hit this level on the Nasdaq, not the micro chart, before I moved my stop to break even. Because technically this trade's still valid, and it's going to hit target. It's going to hit the target probably right now. And that would have been a win trade, but I moved my stop to break even too early because I moved my stop to break even based on the wrong chart. The micros is always inferior to the minis chart. So, got stopped out at break even on that trade. It did give us equal highs, so that trade would have played out. At least looks to be that way. Thanks, James. I appreciate it. I trade two of them, and they're being traded at the same time. I currently trade Apex and Take Profit Trader, or I trade three of them, and then Tradeify. I have a live simulated. I have straight to live account over there. I looked at them a long time ago, and that was when I was deciding between Top Step and Apex, and I decided to go the Apex route. Since then, I haven't reevaluated them. I probably can, but I just haven't right now. I use the Apex copier. It's $150 one-time fee. Way to go, James. Oh. How did you blow it yesterday? Yesterday was Sunday. I would not be trading on a Sunday. Ugh. Yeah, you can't do that. You're never going to become profitable that way. And I'm not saying that as in like bad. I'm saying like I've dealt with those same feelings, those same issues. So your strategy is literally 20% of what you do. The other 80% is being able to manage yourself and not make stupid decisions. And that is my goal in 2025, is to eliminate as many of those stupid decisions that I've made in the past as possible. And so I have a whole regiment beginning to end from the time I get up at 5 a.m. to through my trading period, and even after that, of journaling my trades, just to make sure I'm staying disciplined. Because the thing about discipline is, if you're undisciplined in other areas of your life, it leaks over into the areas that you want to see discipline in. So you could desire discipline and want to be really disciplined in your trading, But if you can't go to bed on time when you say you're going to, if you can't, let me rephrase it. The same discipline it takes to make your bed every morning is the same discipline it takes to not overtrade, to not revenge trade, to follow your rules. You just have to exercise it. So if you have areas of your life you know you're supposed to be disciplined in, or areas of your life you're like compromising, we could use pornography. We could use pornography. If you find yourself rolling over on that all the time, that's going to roll over into your trading. It's just the truth. So being able to have a disciplined life will show up in your trading. And I'm realizing that more and more, because the more I become disciplined in my workout routines, the better I've seen my trading. It's crazy. The correlation is insane. I just said, I'm going to run this much a week. I'm going to get up this time in the morning. I'm going to do my quiet time at this time in the morning. I'm going to do my affirmations at this time. I'm going to do back testing at this time. And the more disciplined I saw myself, the more discipline I was exuding in every area of my life, the more discipline I'm seeing in my trading. It does not mean that you can't say, man, I don't feel like doing this today. I'm going to take a break. That's not what I'm saying. But if you got that gut-wrenching feeling inside that says, oh, man, I really should be doing this, but I don't really want to. I'm just not going to do it today, or whatever it may be, that's when discipline really needs to, that's when you just got to do it. That's where you build that muscle of telling your body what to do and actually doing it. That's, my face is not, that's what you got to work on. And I'm not talking at you. I'm talking from my own experience here. I mean, every person on here, I guarantee you, can say, yep, count me on that one. Count me on that, Tyler. I feel ya. Happened yesterday, last week, this month. It's just human nature. So this whole idea of trading psychology, I've come to the conclusion that it's a joke, because you can't have good trading psychology without good life discipline, good life management skills, good life psychology, or live by a certain set of principles. If you have a principle of how you ideally want to live your life, here's principle 1, principle 2, principle 3, principle 4, but you can't follow the principles you yourself want to live by, you're not going to see success in your trading. I mean, I don't think you will. There's probably those exceptions out there, but for the general population, you'll see significantly more success if you can say, here's what I believe and live by. I'm actually going to do those things. So then when you go into your trading, here's what I believe and want to live by in my trading. Now I'm going to do those things because I have the evidence and proof that I can do it in another area of my life. What are some good books on discipline? I'm reading a book right now. I'm rereading it. It's by Jim Rohn. It's called The Power of Ambition. And there's a section in there on self-discipline. And I've listened to that a dozen times. I've listened to that one chapter a dozen times. I listen to books while I run. That's what I do. So that's a great one. Another one that really blew my mind was the story of, now you have to be okay with profanity on this book if you listen to the audiobook, because it's by what's his face. I'm still waiting for a trade, by the way, folks. I'm not seeing anything I like. You Can't Hurt Me. You Can't Hurt Me by, what's his name? David Goggins. It's his story. And it blew me away. the amount of discipline that guy put himself through. So you want to be inspired by other people that have discipline. It's like, man, if he can freaking run on broken feet 100 miles, then I can follow my rules in trading, right? So the stories of other people doing great things to me inspire me on discipline. It doesn't have to be necessarily a book that describes discipline and gives you the philosophical idea behind it. Just listening to other people's story on how they did something great because they were willing to do what other people weren't willing to do can inspire you. Atomic Habits is a great one, yeah. I've read that book too. All right, what's going to happen here? I still think we're running lower. We're still in that breaker. Look at the breaker, folks. Look at the breaker. It's not good on the 15-minute. Look at the 5-minute. High, low, higher, high. We break lower, and we are still in that. I really wanted it to come up to here. Are we still in that 5-minute? We've violated it barely. All right, we got 3 minutes before 11 a.m. I don't like anything in this. I really don't want to take a trade in this because it could bounce. It could go so many. I mean, there's no pattern in this, so I'm not a fan of it. There's equal highs. I like that. I think those equal highs could be ran to run up to this 5-minute fair value gap. I like that idea. We'll really know if this low. My guess is this low is not going to be violated. If the idea is to run higher up into this level, I would assume this isn't going to be violated. If it starts violating this, then I start questioning, are we running for that level right now? Because it is 11 o'clock, so it could do that right now. Yeah, I like the idea of it running lower, 100%. The question is just when does it want to do it? Here's a inversion you could potentially take right now. Oh, that does look good. Let's see how this closes. If it respects this level, then I'll be interested in it. If it doesn't, I'm not going to take it. Yeah, that's my preference. Let's see if it respects this inversion right here. I'm going to take a quick short and see if it wants to drop right here any lower. And it may not, and I will take a loss on this. Might cut the trade early depending on how it plays out. think I'm going to cut this trade. I'm going to put it at the swing high. I just want it to explode lower. How nice would that be? Be a 43 handle trade. Run into that low. If we can't get below this swing low, I might cut the trade. We really need to run that low right here. Stops at break even. I'm going to take 3 contracts off. I got 2 contracts left. And I'm going to move this. And I'm going to target midnight open at 19,403. That's where I'm going to have it run to. Those relatively equal lows down there. See if we can get that. I might take one more off at this swing low here. If we push through that level, I'll take one more off, and then I'm going to make this a buy target with one contract left. I'm going to take that there. I have one contract left. Targets 19,400. Will be a 73 handle move if it hits. Reversal could happen here, folks. We just ran that, we swept that low. If it doesn't want to do it now and it wants to save it for later, it could absolutely do that. There we go. Come on. Go ahead and hit it. Go ahead and hit it. ES still looks good. NQ still looks good. This 15 minute and 5 minutes is legit. Let's see if we can push through it. Part of me wants to close it right now. But I'm going to let this run. I'm going to work on making myself hold through the trade. Midnight open is really the level I'm interested in, 403. So my limit order is at 19,403.5. Boom. Woo! Patience. Man, I tell you what, it's all about the patience. Look where we took it and look at the reaction here. Let's see if this holds or continues to melt. We'll find out. But either way, that's a great way to end the day, my friends. That's 2 for 2, 1 break even. And look at it. Look at the reaction to midnight open. And I will tell you that it's more than just midnight open here, folks. Look at that. It's midnight open here. And it's the previous day equilibrium. That right there. Those two things combos, bam. Don't try to go below that. I mean, you're going to get a big reaction at that level. And that's exactly what we are seeing. Right there. what did we have to hold through? We held through 30 handles of drawdown. Is that where I got in? No, I didn't get in there. I got in when we closed here. So that was, we had to go through 25 handles of drawdown. I used to have my stop loss 10 handles. Then I was like, I'm being stopped out too much. Then I went to 15. Then I'm like, this is still not working. And then we had Trump tariffs. And then the market started going absolutely insane. And I'm like, if I want to have a freaking shot, I'm going to have to have a 40 handle stop loss. So that's when I moved my stop loss to 40 handles. And now I fluctuated between 30 and 40 handles. And I will tell you, my win rate probably, I don't have the stats on it, just being completely honest. I'm pretty sure I have more wins than losses. When I follow my rules, because the manipulations on some of these, I mean, that's 25 handles. There you go, folks. There's there's today's trades. Or today's profits. All right, so tomorrow I will probably be trading in the PM session. If I'm able to go live, if I can get another agent to cover the mastermind that I do on Tuesdays for real estate, I will be back here, but most likely I'll be trading in the PM session. But then every other day the rest of the week, I will be on this stream live at 9:15, ready to rock and roll, doing the same thing we did here today. So if you liked it, follow along. It's all completely free. The only thing I ask, guys, is if you do use Apex or you do use Take Profit Trader, consider using the code DTJ. It's my way to still do all this for free, the energy, the time for all of this. So I would greatly appreciate that. If you don't use them and you use something else and you don't want to switch, there's no pressure on my end. Just if you use one of those, consider using that discount code. With that, guys, I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to sign off. God bless. Thanks for being here. Hopefully it was a great experience for you. And we'll be back tomorrow. God bless. We'll see you tomorrow.